This instructional video is on textbook pages 228 to 230. Number 1, how can you describe the relationship between the two sets of data? In a scatter plot, we can describe the relationship as either positive, negative, or no association. We can describe the relationship as either linear or nonlinear. And we can describe the relationship as either strong or weak. 2, how does a trend line describe the strength of the association? If the data points are close to the trend line, the association is strong. The farther away the points are, the weaker the association. Number 3, how does the scatter plot of a nonlinear association differ from that of a linear association? We know that the word nonlinear means it's not a straight line pattern. And a linear association would be a straight line pattern. Number 4, describe the association between the two sets of data in the scatter plot. So again, we would draw our trend line through the middle. Our trend line in this scatter plot is going up, meaning it has a positive association. We could say it has a linear association because our trend line does go in a straight line. And we would say that this is a weak association because the points are farther away from the trend line itself. Number 5, describe the association between the two sets of data in the scatter plot. So we cannot draw a trend line because if we did, it would go down and then it would go back up. So it's not positive or negative. We would describe this as a non-linear association. That is a curved trend line. It is not straight, it is non-linear. We do not classify non-linear associations as positive, negative, or none, and they are not considered strong or weak. They are just non-linear associations. Number 6, the scatter plot shows the average heights of children ages 2 to 12 in a certain country. Which line is the best model for the data? So if we're looking at our trend lines, we want to see the line that runs through the middle of the points. Letter F is running in the wrong direction, so we know it's not going to be line F. Line Z runs diagonally across, but it doesn't run through the middle of all the points, so we're not going to pick line Z. Line S, again, only touches 2 of the points. It does not run through the middle of all of the data points, so we're not going to pick line S. Instead, we're going to pick line M, which touches multiple points and goes through the middle of the scatter plot. Number 7, does the scatter plot show a positive, negative, or no association? So because our trend line would be going in an upward direction, we would label this as a positive association. Number 8, determine whether the scatter plot of the data for the following situation would have a positive or negative linear association. The example is time working and the amount of money earned. So the statement can be made that the more time spent working, the more money is made. So that's the statement that makes sense. The more time you work, the more money you make. Because the word more is used in both statements, we would call this a positive association. Number 9, describe the relationship between the data and scatter plot. Our points start at the top and go towards the bottom corner of the scatter plot, so this is labeled as a negative association. Number 10, describe the relationship between the data and the scatter plot. In this scatter plot, we can tell that the points are going in an upward direction, but it is in a curved line, not a linear association. So we would describe it as non-linear. Because it is non-linear, we're not going to describe it as positive, negative, strong, or weak. Number 11, describe a real situation that would fit this relationship described. A strong positive association. An example would be the more you study, the better grade you make on the test. Again, the more you study, that's a positive association, and then the better grade, another positive association. Two positive statements make a positive association. For letter B, a strong negative association would be the more video games you play, the less sleep you get. So again, it's the more video games, so that is a positive statement, but the less sleep, that would be a negative statement. Because one is positive and one is negative, that would make an overall negative association. Number 12, a sociologist is studying how sleep affects the amount of money a person spends. The scatter plot shows the results of the study. What type of association does it show between the amount of sleep and the money spent? So again, we can call this a positive association because the points are going in an upward direction. You could classify this as non-linear as well because you could draw the line in a curved format, and so either of those are correct answers. Number 13. Which paired data would likely show a positive association? Select all that apply. So for a positive association, we need two positive statements. So if we say the higher the population, the higher the number of schools, that would be a true statement. The more people there are, the more schools we need. Number 2, the longer the hair, the larger the shoe size. Does not make sense. Shoe size and hair length do not go together. Number 3, the number of people who carpool to work and the money spent on gas. Well, the more people who carpool to work, that means ride together, that would be less money spent on gas. So that would be a negative statement. Carpooling is positive, but gas would be negative. For number 4, the more hours worked equals the more money earned. That would be a positive statement. And the last one, the more time spent driving would be the less amount of gas in the car. So that would be a negative statement. So only 2 of those made a positive association. For number 14, which paired data would likely show a negative association? For a negative, we need one statement going up and one statement going down. We already talked about how the population and the number of school size would be positive because the larger the population, the more schools we need. We already talked about how hair length and shoe size have no relationship, so that would be a no association. Number 3, the more people who carpool to work or who ride together would be less money spent on gas. So that would be a negative. Carpooling is a positive statement, but money on gas would be less. That's your negative statement. Number 4, hours worked and the amount of money earned was our positive statement. The more hours you work, the more money you make. And the last one, time spent driving. The more time spent driving, the less gas there is in the car. So that would be our other negative association.